So this is the first topic after the internal test. It's called as the topic is the space charge at a junction. Okay. So space charge at a junction. What do you mean by this? Okay. Any hint you have? 1 minute. This is creating some problem. Oops. When everything starts operating, then laptop creates a problem. Okay, I think that's right now it is fine. I will just choose this pen and yeah. Okay, the space charge at a junction. Okay, let me choose. This is a new JPEG file I have created. Space charge at a junction. Okay, so we have already used this word many times. The space charge. Of a junction. Especially this is a space charge is also called as a depletion region within a junction. This is called by many names: space charge region, transition region, and depletion region. So all are in fact going to be same. So you need not get confused. So this is also used by a word called a transition region, and in a transition region what is going to happen, you can see that. Okay, so electrons keep moving, electrons and holes, they transit from one side to another side within a junction. Why this transition happens here? Because of there is a concentration gradient change. So if you look at a PN junction as a box type, this is a PN junction, and here we have one side we have a P and other side we have a N, and this is a terminus, let me assume here. So usually diodes are made up of like in the P plus N or N P plus, like this. I'm sorry. So this is not NP plus. This is P plus N is one possible combination. And the other combination is going to be the P N plus. What does that plus indicates? This plus here. This is nothing but heavy. Yeah. You want to answer?
Heavily doped, sir.
Yeah, heavily doped. The plus indicates it's heavily doped. Diodes, or PN junctions are not doped uniformly. You don't find, diodes with something like this PN. Okay, so they are equally doped. You don't find this type of, diodes in practically. You will find diodes either PN plus or P plus N. In our course, we usually assume PN plus only. N is heavily doped and P is lightly doped. Okay, within this this is called, the middle of a junction. And on one side you will see a depletion, edge of a depletion region towards P side. Another side you see edge of a depletion region towards N side. What are this distance? What are naming we are given for this? You remember that we are given name as X N naught. I hope you remember that. And for this edge of depletion region towards P side, we are given label as minus. This is minus. It is X P naught, subscript X P naught. Okay. So this is the notations what we are given here. Okay, so I will come back to that little later. So in this transition region, this is called as the transition region. This complete region, whatever space you see here, is called as a transition region. Okay. Now, if you see that electrons in the transition is what they are happening. There are four process which is happening. One is diffusion process. You can see that. Okay. So electrons are diffusing from N to P. So you can see that electrons are majority charge carriers here. Okay, so they diffuse from N to P. Okay, so this is the direction of movement of electrons. And other side you can see that holes diffuse from P to N. So here holes are majority carriers on the P type of semiconductor. They diffuse from like this. So in a PN junction, electrons are diffusing from N to P and holes are diffusing from P to N. Why they diffuse? Because of there is a concentration gradient. So concentration in a sense, since electrons are majority here, so this is electrons which are majority here, they move towards the region where they are minority, especially in the P semiconductor. And holes which are majority on P type, they move towards the region where they are minor in number, so which is usually N. Okay, so this is called diffusion. On other side you can see that there is another current called as a drift current also. What do we mean by drift current? So the current due to the electric field, some force is driving this charge carriers. Where do we get this the electric field? Electric field is because when electrons keep leaving their position from n to p and holes keep leaving their positions from p to n, they leave their immobile charge carriers here. Especially you will see donor ions on the n side, acceptor ions on the p side. So this creates an electric field. Okay, you know that how electric field is created. One side if you see a positive charge, another side if you see negative charge, so you get an electric field in that. And what is the direction of electric field in this case? You have positive on n side, negative on p side. What is the direction of electric field?
From N to P.
N to P, that's right. So direction is from N to P like this. Okay. So N to P like that. So now this electric field will cause us, the movement with other charge carriers. So which are nothing but, the electrons will drift from P to N and holes will drift from N to P. Okay. This is what it happens. And this is basically due to the electric field, which is already told here. It is due to the electric field. You can see drift happens because of electric field. Now in this, we explained, diffusion process, how it happens, and how diffusion process creates an electric field, and the electric field, how it causes the drift of charge carriers. We have seen all these things. Now let me explain to you the another thing here called as electric field sweeps, the, what do you mean by sweep? Sweeps out carriers. What do you mean by that? So these two regions, the PN junction, you can visualize PN junction like this. Suppose if I write a PN junction like this, you can visualize like a parallel plate capacitor. You can see here this is a P plus here, and we have N here, and we have a terminals here. This is more or less, it looks like a parallel plate capacitor like this. Okay. And you see one side the plate is made up of the positive charges here. So you can see the positive charges here. Another side you can see plate is made up of negative charges like this here. So this is a parallel plate capacitor. In a parallel plate capacitor, now I want to ask you a question here. In a parallel plate capacitor, do you see any charges in between the plate? I mean, do you see any charges here? Because what do you mean by parallel plate capacitor? We have two plates here. This is one plate, what you are seeing. This is another plate. In between them, what do you see in a parallel plate capacitor? It's a dielectric, right? This region is made up of dielectric. So this is dielectric. Okay. This dielectric region will not allow positive charges from on one plate to the other plate here. Okay. So because of that, this complete dielectric now isolates these two plates, and any charge due to the leakage or due to the distance between them tries to move to this the dielectric region, it will be swept. Okay. Suppose if positive charge is here, if positive charge, let me say positive charge is here, obviously which side this will get attracted? Okay, without, let me say this positive charge has come in between the plate, obviously it will get attracted to the negative plate. Suppose in case if negative charge comes here, it get attracted to the positive plate. That means at any instant of time in this area you don't see any charges. So same situation also applies here. Okay, so we have discussed here with reference to this. So here there is a depletion region here. In this region you don't find any charges. This is called space charge region or transition region. Any charges present here, say for example negative charges, it will get attracted to this. Positive charges here. So in this side, this complete PN junction is one plate is made up of positive, that is towards N side. The other plate is made up of negative. So obviously electron present here will be pushed, will be attracted to this side. Any holes present here will be attracted to this side because this other plate is negatively charged and this plate is positively charged. Okay. I hope with that let me move on to this. This is the meaning of a sweep. In order to explain this sweep, I have taken this example here. Sweep means the electric field is so strong between the two plates, any charge present here within these two plates will be swept either to the p side or to the n side, depending on the type of charge carriers. Okay. However, at any given time, there are very few carriers in the depletion region since electric field sweeps, that's what I use a word called sweep here, sweeps out carriers which have wandered, okay, into the width W, okay, which if any charge comes into the space charge region, the charges are moved accordingly. Now let us see that what do we mean by depletion approximation. So depletion approximation means the charge density, okay, the charge density which is measured in coulomb per centimeter cube in the depletion or space charge region, okay, is only due to the donor and acceptor ion in the neutral region. What do you mean by this? You can see here this is a p-n junction, what you are seeing, this is a p semiconductor region, this is n region, n side, okay, so this is n side, and we call this as a neutral region. What may be the reason for calling this as neutral region? This region what you are seeing, I will just highlight here, this complete region is called as neutral region. This is neutral n region, this is neutral p region. My question to you is, why this region is called as neutral p? What is the reason for using a word here neutral? Any idea? Okay, I will tell the answer here. The reason why we call here neutral is because there is no net charge here. What do you mean by no net charge? Okay, in this region you don't find any net one particular type of charge, because even though there are electrons here, equal number of electron on hole, this complete thing, n type semiconductor is made up of, there's a conduction band, there is a valence band here, electrons keep moving to the conduction band, holes keep moving to the valence band, equal number of EHP will happen, electron hole pairing will happen in this, that keeps the entire material neutral. You don't see a one particular type of the charges in this region here. So there is no net charge in this complete material in this n region here. So therefore, so this region is considered as neutral n region. Similarly, on p side you see neutral, which is p region here. This is neutral p region. Okay, and you can see here there are edges of a depletion region. Okay, you can see here this is one edge of a depletion region. Okay, so if you look at here, this particular region, okay, this is edge of a depletion region, which we denoted as minus xp naught, you can see here, and this is 0, distance starts from middle of a junction, and you can also notice towards n side we have xn naught. So x is nothing but which is a distance measured from the center of p-n junction, and it is positive towards n side and negative towards p side. Okay, and this indicates xp naught indicates its edge of a depletion region towards p side, which is negative because it starts from 0 in the middle of from the middle of a junction, and you can also see that xn naught indicates its edge of a depletion region towards n side. And what you are seeing here, charges here, plus here you can see here, these are all okay, donor ions. They have donated electrons. Electrons were there in this position earlier before charge carrier movement. Now electrons have left its position, so therefore this has become like a positive ions. So this complete region is filled with the positive charges here, and other side you see that this complete region is filled with negative ions here, not charges. Okay, these are all immobile, so these negative ions will not move, but they create electric field. So electric field is from p n to p. Okay, this is the direction of electric field. Okay. Okay, we understood now what is xp naught, what is xn naught, what is x here. X is nothing but a distance from the middle of a junction, and we explained what is neutral region, and this is actually the width of a junction, total width of a junction. Okay, from extending from xn naught to minus xp naught. This region is very important for the designers. See, most of the time we, instead of focusing on neutral regions here, like what we showed here, we'll be focusing most of our time on this W. Why W make a sense? Because W is a thing, but as I told you, it is a space charge region or width of a depletion region. The external potential, whatever you apply here between these two terminals here, the complete potential appears across this. And also you see that here we have given spacing is not uniform. You can see here this space width is larger, okay. This width is small. Why the width vary here? Any reason, specific reason, and what factor does this width 0 to xn naught or 0 to minus xp naught depends on? Any idea? Why this is very small? You are not seeing equal, right? Suppose if I consider this as xp naught minus xp naught, observe this xp naught, and if I write this as xn naught and xp naught are not same. Xn naught is small, xp naught is large. Reason is we assume here a type of diode as n plus p. Okay, that means n region is heavily doped, p region is lightly doped. When we say that the semiconductor is of like this p n plus, because of this n side depletion region is narrow, p side depletion region is wider. Always towards lightly doped region, this depletion region penetrates. Okay. Again, see why depletion region penetrates only to the lightly doped region? Because as I told you already, the type of semiconductor or p-n junction what we have chosen is p-n plus here. That means n is heavily doped. Because of n is heavily doped, this more number of holes from the p side, okay, they instead of saying holes, let me say empty positions, okay, they rush into the n side. Okay, so due to that, you see that a lot of positive, this is filled with more negative ions here. Therefore, it widens here compared to the n side here. Positive ions on the n side. Okay, I think we have spent a lot of time on that. So we are going to the further, few more points. Neglect carriers in the space charge region. We already told about that. We should not consider any charge carriers residing in this, because any carrier present here will be swept either to the p side or n side depending on the type of charge carrier. Because this depletion region has got a very high electric field, and that will push charges either to the neutral p region or neutral n region. Okay. And let me show a few mathematical equation of this. Okay, the space charge density on n side is given by q nd, that is the space charge region. Okay, this is the space charge. This is actually graph which shows you the space charge the charge density graph. You can see here this is a charge density graph. The notation here is rho of x, which indicates charge density as a function of distance. Its unit is coulomb per centimeter cube. You can see that there is a cube here, coulomb per centimeter cube. So charge density on n side, you can see that this is the charge density on n side. Its value is going to be q times nd. Okay. So similarly here the data is missing here. This is charge density here is minus q times Na. Okay. So this is this level here. Towards p side it is minus q times Na. So we told about this charge density on n side is q times Nd. It's a product of q charge and as well as Nd. Nd is nothing but donor ion concentration. Negative charge density on p side is minus q times Na. Okay, so it is a negative here on p side because here we have negative ions. Due to that, here we have a negative notation here, q times Na. Na indicates it's a acceptor ion concentration. Okay. Why it is negative and positive here? Any reason specific? Always see that electric field exists between from positive charge to negative charge. Okay, this is the direction of electric field what we have shown. Okay, and whatever it comes opposite to that, we take it as negative. Okay, so this is negative here and this is positive. Other way to explain that is there is negative ions here, therefore this charge density here in this region is going to be the value is minus q times Na, and the charge density level on the n side is q times Nd. Okay. And here according to the nature law of conservation, let me indicate this as a q plus, and on a p side you can see we have shown that as a q minus. This q plus can be calculated by just finding the total number of charges in this. Okay, so that total number of charges in this region from 0 to xn naught is q times a means it's an area, this complete area, and xn naught is nothing but distance from this distance xn naught times Nd. So Nd is nothing but which is an donor ion concentration here. Okay, so q plus this total charges here can be calculated by using this relation here. Okay. Similarly, total charge on the p side can be calculated q minus, which we denote here. This can be calculated by again taking same what we have done for q plus. Here we have a minus q a xp naught into Na. So this gives you the total charges on the negative side of the p-n junction here. And this distance already we told about this. Xn naught indicates edge of a depletion region on the n side, xp naught indicates edge of a depletion region on the p side. And if you observe this graph here, x axis you can see there is a distance x here, and y axis is nothing but which is a charge density, that is indicated as a rho of x here. Okay. Now the rho of x with reference to x is nothing but which takes a step waveform. If you look at this graph, it is like a step waveform. Look at this. It goes from negative all the way toward, when you come to the n side, it takes positive here. It is like a step waveform like this. Okay. This is a charge density graph. Charge density is measured in coulombs per centimeter cube. Now, why we need this charge density graph? You will get to know all those things little later, why I am stressing more on the charge density, because if you integrate this charge density graph, you will get an electric field. And if you integrate this electric field, you will get a potential, okay, which I will show you here. This is a potential graph. Okay, the built-in potential graph. You already know that in earlier class we derived an equation for V naught. This alternative equation for V naught is by graphical method we are doing it. Okay. So right now what we are discussing is electrostatics of the p-n junction or space charge region. I hope you understood this, the charge density graph as a function of distance. I explained the positive level and negative levels, and explained total charges, how you calculate the quantity here using the equations. And I also told you that charge density graph of a p-n junction is a step waveform. Okay. And there is, that in this region there is no charge density because equal number of electron hole pairs happens here. Therefore, the charge density is going to be 0 in the neutral n region. Same way in the neutral p region, the charge density is going to be in this region especially. There are no charges. Equal number of electrons, the flow will takes place, and the net charge here is going to be 0. So I can say here net charge is 0 here. You don't see any either p type or n type charges. Equal number of movement will happen here. Okay, with that knowledge, let me proceed to the electric field equation here, electric field graph here. This is again, once again, see based on this together simultaneously observing is always good. Reason is you can easily connect this, and if you observe this is electric field here. You can see that this again x axis is a distance x here, and y axis is nothing but E of x. We know that E we denote it for electric field. Okay, E is as a function of as a x, E versus x. This is a graph, and if you observe this graph, it is nothing but this takes a triangular, reverse triangular pattern, something like this, reverse triangular pattern. Okay, reverse triangular pattern here. What may be the reason of reverse triangular pattern? According to the formula, as I will come back to the formula as well. If you look at this charge density graph, and if you connect that with electric field, you have to do integration here. If you integrate with limits like minus infinity to t, the charge density, you will get electric field. Okay, electric field as a function of a distance is a triangular, and if you observe this is going to be like a linear function. It looks like What is the integration of 2 into dx?
Two x.
It is a 2x. What kind of function it is? What kind?
Linear.
What if I say y is equal to 2x? What kind of function it is? It's a linear function, right? In our case, it is a linearly decreasing function. You can see here. This is a constant waveform. What we have here? You can see this step waveform here, constant between minus xp naught to 0 and again 0 to xn naught. It is a constant. If you integrate this, the constant step function, what kind of the waveform you get it? You get it as this negative going the linear function here, and you can see that positive going linear function here. This is a positive going linear function like this. Okay, and this complete region xp naught and xn naught is the depletion region. This is edge of a a p-n junction towards n side. This is edge of a p-n junction towards p side. And you can also observe that field is maximum here. Don't worry about the negative. Though field is negative here, why it is negative I will explain you in a moment. But electric field is maximum here, E of 0. Here there is a strong electric field. That means in the middle of a junction here, there is a strong electric field. This electric field pushes carriers either to the p side or n side depending on type of charge carriers here. Now let us estimate this, what is the maximum electric field. Now in a quick review, you are seeing the equations here. E of 0 is nothing but we'll show this how you get this equation. This is E of 0 equation. Okay, the field at the middle of a junction is given by minus q Na xp naught divided by epsilon. Remember that there is an epsilon term here. Okay. Okay, so I explained you this how you get from this step waveform to this by doing an integration with the limits minus infinity to t. Okay, and you get this E of 0, and similarly this is a decreasing function, and when you move to the n side there is an increasing function here. Okay, we will explain this through the basic formulas here. Before that, let me explain here reason for why there is a movement or the charge carriers penetrates into the p side then n side. Let me show that with mathematical reasons here. Space charge neutral equality, what you see is electromagnetic tells us that the total number of positive charges must be equal to the total number of negative charges. So what do we mean by this? So according to the law of conservation energy, the net negative charge, okay, and net positive charges both should be equal. This is what the relation according to the law of conservation of energy. Okay, Q plus total positive charge on the n side will be equal to Q minus total negative charge on the n side. This is as per the law of conservation of energy. Okay, so the transition region may extend into the p side and n regions unequally depending on the relative doping levels. This is very important here. If you dope it equally, then there is no extension to the p side. Because of the unequal doping here, this is important. Unequal doping, the depletion region extends either to the p side or n side. Here I have taken a specific example here. Let me assume that p side is lightly doped compared to the n side here. This is the condition. When p side is lightly doped compared to the n side here, you can see here this is relation which holds good. Okay, Nd is larger than the Na. That means donor ions are larger compared to the acceptor ions. For the case n side is heavily doped, p side is light. Suppose if this is going to be a p-n junction, we have here p is lightly doped and n side is heavily doped. For this type of junction, this condition is applicable here. What happens when the difference in the doping? The difference in the doping results in a different widths in two regions. That means the region here what you see, let me show this here. Okay, so regions what you see here in this junction is depletion region will get more widened like this to the p side, and it will be narrow to the n side like this. You will see more width here and you will see less width here. Okay, because of this kind of doping. N is heavily doped compared to the p side. How this is done, let me explain to you now. The space charge region must extend further into the p material, this is what we have seen, and then into the n to uncover the equal number of charge, because when n is heavily doped, more number of the empty spaces here, or the holes keep moving to the n side, therefore the depletion region extends to the p side. Okay, and now let us apply this charge neutrality here. We have already said that we know that this equations, this q plus already we showed in charge density graph, q minus also we have showed as per the charge density graph. Q plus is equal to q a na xn naught into na. Q minus, that is the charge on the p side, is given by minus q a xp naught into nd. According to law of conservation of energy, this q plus should be equal to q minus. If you do this substitute here, this is what we have done here, q plus is here and q minus is here. Okay, so if this is q minus and this is q plus, if substitute here, this q cancels out here and you are left out with this simple relation here. And now let us apply this unequal doping relation to this. Okay, so here you can see bottom there are two examples as a specific I have given here. So one example is here you can see for p n plus type of diode p-n junction, this is nd is greater than na. So this already we said that nd is far greater than na. If this is the case, let me substitute this. Let's assume that nd is equal to 2 times na. Now if you substitute this relation, okay, in the original equation, this is the original equation, you can see here this is the original equation. If you substitute here, what do we get here? You can see here xp naught into na we kept as it is, these two things we have not changed. Xn naught also it's kept, but in place of nd we have 2 times na. Now you can observe here, I want to see what is the length on p side, xp naught. Xp naught is nothing but this na cancels here on both the sides. You are left out with 2 times xn naught. That means xp naught distance is twice the xn naught distance. So therefore, depletion width extends more to the p side. Vice versa, if you think, suppose if diode is like this, p plus n. Now what happens? So obviously for p plus n, na, okay, na will be greater, far greater than nd. Okay, so this condition is applicable now. Let's assume that na is 2 times nd. Again, if you substitute this relation here in the same equation, okay, so you get this. You can say substitute na as 2 times nd here. Rest all terms you can retain here. This nd cancels here. This nd cancels this nd cancel with this, and you are left out with xp naught is equal to half of xn naught. That means for this type of the diode, you will have a depletion region something like this. It will be narrow to the p side and it will be wider to the n side, because we have chosen p plus n diode. And for this bottom example, we have a diode like this. Okay, we have a middle of a junction. In this case, depletion width is extended to the p side and there is a narrow depletion region to the n side. This kind of diode is p n plus. Okay, so these are two specific examples I have given here. Okay, I hope you understand how exactly depletion region extends to the p side and n side depending on the doping. Due to the unequal doping, so this extension will happen here. Okay, let me touch upon a little bit about classical mechanics and electromagnetics. Okay, later on I will connect this to the space charge region. And if you observe this quantum classical mechanics here, suppose if you know the displacement, you must have studied this in your 10th or pre-university. W of t we denote for displacement. If you know the displacement, in order to obtain the velocity here, you must do the differentiation. You can see here, this is what differentiation. So to obtain the velocity, you take derivative of the displacement dw of t by dt, that gives the velocity. And if you know velocity, that is v of t, you can obtain the acceleration by again taking the differentiation of this. See, if you differentiation of this. So that means if you do this d by dt of displacement, you get velocity. If you do again here d by dt of velocity, you get acceleration. That means if you move from top to bottom like this, you get the displacement to velocity, velocity to acceleration. And if you want to go reverse direction, you have to do the integration here. Suppose if you know the say acceleration, and in you want to calculate from acceleration the velocity, you can see here we are integrating from minus infinity to all the way up to t. That gives me the velocity. If you know the velocity, to obtain the displacement, you need to again integrate again from between minus infinity to t. What do you mean by this minus infinity to t? What are these limits indicates? Minus infinity all the way we are integrating to t. Any idea about this? You must have observed this in basic electronics. In with reference to capacitor, what it is called? Have you come across this? Initial conditions. These terms, are you aware of this? Initial conditions. Suppose if you want to find out the voltage of a capacitor, what you will do? You will not start from t is equal to 0, right? You will start from minus infinity to t. This is called initial conditions. We don't know the past history of capacitor, because capacitor is an energy storage device. It may store energy before you start operating it. So initial conditions is very important. This is applicable for all the energy storage devices like capacitor, inductor, and many more. So again, same thing is applicable here also. That means minus infinity to t indicates it is the initial conditions. If you integrate velocity between these two limits, that gives you the displacement. Now same thing what you see here, you can also apply these concepts to electromagnetics here. Now let us see here how this can be connected to the electromagnetics. The parameters here is charge, and there is an electric field, and there is an voltage here. We already know that in previous graphs I have explained you charge density. This is what I explained to you already, and I told you how to calculate electric field. Now we will use this concept and explain to you how to calculate a built-in potential. Okay. Now let us see here. Suppose if you know charge density. Okay. So as per our knowledge, let me say that if you know the charge density, how do you calculate electric field from that? You have to integrate that. You can see that there is a charge density is denoted as 1 by epsilon, okay, into rho of x. Okay, that's the charge density here. If you integrate this between these initial conditions, minus infinity to say, okay, x here, sorry. So this is the limit, minus infinity to x, rho of x is nothing but charge density. If you integrate that with reference to dx, and 1 by epsilon is a constant here, you can keep it outside. That gives me electric field. That means if you know charge density, if you integrate this, okay, if you integrate this between the limits like minus infinity to t or x here in this case as a distance, that gives you the electric field. This is what you have seen earlier. Okay, we know charge density. This was like for a p-n junction, it was looking like a step waveform like this. Okay, this is rho of x. Okay, this was rho of x here. If you integrate this, that gives the electric field. And if you integrate the electric field here, you can see that between the limits like minus infinity to all the way up to x here, okay, that gives me the built-in potential, which is v of x. To calculate v of x, all these tricks we are doing here. That means from bottom to up, it is an integration. This is an integration. Okay, this is an integration, and from top to bottom, it is nothing but derivation, which is d by dt. Okay. So with that, let me move to the notations here. Now let me go back to the electric field equation. So this is the electric field equation. You can see here. Okay. This is electric field E of x. E of x is equal to 1 by epsilon rho of x. If you integrate the charge density with reference to dx by applying initial conditions, you get the electric field. If you substitute this rho of x, the values here, and you get with this values E of 0, we got this. And since we know for x side, you can also write for this is for p side, you can also write same equation towards n side here. So E of 0 is nothing but minus q divided by epsilon into xp naught into Na. This can be written on similar lines with minus which is q by epsilon into xn naught into Nd. So this is the field. Okay. Okay. Now let us see that this, how can you apply this to the here, how we get this graph here. So when I say here we have to integrate from minus infinity to say, suppose if this is going to be a point, and if I start from minus infinity, let us say, if I integrate from minus infinity to xp naught, this charge density, what is the answer you get? See, between these two, there is charge density, there is no charges here. You can see here, there are no charges here. So therefore, minus infinity to xp naught, there are no charges here. So therefore, the field is 0. So in this region, you can see that you can write here, okay, this is electric field is 0. Now if I move little bit to the, say here, this region, if I choose small distance, let us say here, let us say this is x dash. Now if I integrate from minus infinity to x dash, now see this elemental area, okay, this distance is constant. So therefore, integration of this constant, what it gives you, you get an some function here, this value here, some value here, which is a linear function. And slowly if you expand this, the this piecewise area, say to the middle of a junction, what happens? Your linear function keeps increasing. Negative is because electric field is you are taking from n to p, okay, so which is the negative in this case. So if you slowly expand this into the, say this into the complete the p region here, slowly the linear function also starts increasing. Now let us say that we have taken completely this area. If you are integrating from minus infinity to say this point is, this complete area is this, you get maximum electric field here. And what happens when you integrate to the this complete region here? Suppose if I integrate, use this region, this is the region I want to integrate now. Integration means you are finding a common area, nothing else here. So this is the region. Now what happens here? So as you keep, see, if you choose area like this, okay, this complete area to the left hand side you are considering now. Now see what happens here. Some positive, large positive area, small negative area, resulting is linear function keeps decreasing. And suppose if you choose complete area of this, now see what happens here. That even though the width here is expanded to the p side and less to the n side here, okay, but area under this curve is same. So therefore the positive region here, negative region here, and positive region here will cancel each other, and therefore the function becomes 0 after xn naught here. So we understood that how we get linear function, which is a decreasing function here, and the field is going to be maximum at the middle of a junction because only the negative region is contributing here. And as you move to the n side, the linear function starts decreasing, and it decreases, and when you are at the xn naught region, completely the function becomes 0, therefore there is no electric field here. So electric field is a reverse triangle here, and this area can be calculated like half into base into height. Using that you can calculate area of this triangle. It is possible here because height is E of 0, base is W, half into W into E of 0, that gives you area of this inverse triangle. Okay. So with that I will stop at this point. I hope I have clarified, I have discussed today's class with how to apply electrostatic concepts to the PN junction, and we have discussed a depletion region approximation, and we discussed about the various things happening here, and the charge density we analyzed, and we also discussed what is called as electric field. And now to find out potential here, okay, if you look at this graph, the potential graph, if you integrate the electric field what we have shown here, okay, so you get the electric field, what we got is something like this, right? It is a triangle here. What is the integration of this triangle, which gives you this? In other way you can say that this is like a linear function, right? It is like a 2x. What is the integration of 2x? It's a parabolic function. This is a parabolic function. So you can see that here this is a parabolic, and afterwards it becomes a constant. So this is important for us, the built-in potential which is important for us, so which is V naught here. So if you integrate electric field, this field equation, if you integrate between minus infinity to x here, in our case minus infinity to xn naught, if you integrate it, this is what we have shown here, minus infinity to xn naught. If you integrate the field, you get this V naught built-in potential here. So this is the field equation which you need to remember. This is second equation for the built-in potential. Okay, V naught here. Okay, so this V naught built-in potential in terms of width is given here, W by 2 Q by epsilon xp naught Na into this. Similarly, you can also write for xn naught here. Okay, so with that I will stop at this point, and next class we will continue with the PN junction and the charge carrier movement within the PN junction and the current flow within the PN junction. Okay, and with that I will stop here, and if you have any questions you can ask me.